I just want to know why I haven't got an in-person demo already. When are you guys coming out to see us in real time? Are we waiting for COVID to finish up? What's happening?
Up in Chicago, right?
Yeah, up in Chicago. I'll buy you a nice Chicago pizza like every other person that comes up. We'll have a blast.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you know. So,
We can definitely get that scheduled. We'll make it happen.
all
Absolutely.
right. We gotta
Especially
make this
it's
happen.
cold up there in Chicago.
Yeah, the might be not coming at the best time of year. We might have to see when we're going to do it, but we've got to make it happen. So I have seen the video. It's one of the reasons why this relationship started. People listening, and I think it's totally awesome. There's I saw the potential value from several different industries, and we're talking about grass cutting right now. I think from when I saw your video, and I'll keep this broad, some of the things that you can do with the things you guys are looking at, I think it's almost an untapped potential. It starts with the lawn mowing, but you can use it in so many other segments in the outdoor service industry. So I urge anybody to go on and actually take a look at it. So
I'm curious with what you guys do. What are your biggest challenges, and what lessons have you learned from all of that, or from any challenges you guys have faced?
Good question.
Go ahead and piggyback that of you.
Okay. I'll say that a lot of the robotics technology, from us studying robotics, it's not that complicated stuff from a technology perspective. It's not easy, don't get me wrong, but it's not that complicated. Especially we get people when we're testing, they'll stop their car and be like, oh man, that is so cool, that's so neat. Can I take pictures? Which I think is a great selling point for landscapers out there that's looking to grow their business. But, the robotics piece, we can figure that out. And eventually, a ton of folks will figure that piece out. The biggest challenge, Julie, is the business model. Is talking with landscapers, and to your point, Joe, being sure that they understand what job the robotic lawnmower is doing, because it's not doing the job of your typical zero turn. It's doing the job of the zero turn plus a person sitting on top of the zero turn. And we want to capture that value. We want to explain that value. We want to have a business model that incorporates all of that. So that's the biggest challenge.
Yeah, and I mean, adding to what George said, biggest challenge is for people to understand that you're just not paying for a machine.
Right.
You're paying for a machine and a worker in one.
Yep.
It does not look like, but it's a machine and a worker. And a lot of people have like, no, it's just a machine. More than that.
Yeah.
It's more than that.
Yeah, the biggest people will have to overcome, I believe, is actually once the contract was adopted, the next group of people are the banks and lenders, right? Because lenders are used to looking at a typical P&L of a landscaper, and they say, okay, yeah, they buy that $13,000 zero turn, they're going to put a $40,000 a year employee on that zero turn. So really, that zero turn is $55,000, $54,000, $53,000, depending on the piece of equipment. And that's the thing that I always am even telling banks, because that's the level we've gotten into now, where we're looking at some of these deals where we're talking about, 9,000 to 40,000 acres of mowing with robotics right now. And then to get an investor to understand. So there's two things I'm just telling you guys. There's the first is to get the people that want to buy it to understand it. And then secondly, to get the people that are going to have to be willing to lend to it to understand that you're getting 2 for 1.
That's right.
And you're not paying $9 100 for workman's comp insurance, and you don't have the variability of that workman's comp. And God forbid something does happen to that employee, okay? That zero turn flips over and they get trapped underneath it. People ask me how we sleep at night with the amount of robots that we have mowing. And I tell them much easier than if I had an employee out working at night, because at the end of the day, if my robot gets run over or stolen, I just replace it. I don't have to look a family member in the eye when they come to get that person's check or their belongings that were working for my company that got injured. And I tell you,
that's just some plastic and some boards.
It's life goes on. It's just move on. And then I also say, from a level of management, when I'm training a younger generation and wave of managers, it's so much easier because there's not any emotion tied in. You know, it's like, I mean, people don't value middle managers in landscape companies enough to have to answer to someone like myself to say, hey, we've got to make X amount of margin and we have to keep our customers happy. But the middle managers have to keep those employees that they've acquired there. So when that employee doesn't feel good and doesn't want to come in, it's not like you can just say you're done. The customer says, I want you here, but you have to deal with all that. With robots, it's easy. If that robot is not functioning properly, you take it out of the fleet and you put a fully functioning robot onto that account, problem is solved.
That's right.
So another thing when you're talking about scalability with robotics, it's not personal at all. Does it cut the acreage that we bought it for? Once it stops cutting that acreage, we figure out how to replace it.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, we both sides here, we already thoroughly believe in the technology, but I think a lot of your listeners, they're going to see it more and more, the value of what we're working on. So
yeah, and I know for you guys, the things that I'm saying, you probably already know, but the whole point of this podcast is for people that don't think like us to start to know. So
yeah.
Yeah. So where do you see? Where do you see your guys' future in 5 to 10 years? Right, like now we sit where we're at. Expand on where you think the future is going to go. We know what you're already working on. You said go to the website and take a look at it, but where do you think? Explain that a little bit from your guys' perspective.
Sure. So folks that go onto the website at hirehenry.us, they'll see our fully functional prototype that's out cutting grass and all that good stuff. This upcoming season, we're coming out with a model that we're going to be conducting a pilot program with a select few of landscaping companies. This is a heavy-duty version of the prototype that you see on the website currently. Has all the necessary features that's going to bring the value that we've been talking about throughout the show. So that's our immediate goal, is focusing on this summer, focusing on our landscaping partners that's going to be testing our robotic lawnmower over the summer. 5 years, I'm hoping that this will be in, 60% of landscaping companies across the United States, right? That's ambitious, right? For 5 years, But I think there's a cautionary tale, that we can get from a lot of other industries. For example, let's take Uber. If cab drivers would have embraced Uber, then, they would be making money out the wazoo, right? But instead, a lot of cab companies resisted against Uber. So I think that once landscapers start to adopt the technology and they're competing with other landscaping companies, we're going to see a phenomenal amount of growth.
You agree completely with that, Katie, or you got anything you want to add?
No, I completely agree with that. I mean, I think, like what George said, in 5 years from now, hopefully the technology, I know for sure the technology will be way more advanced than we currently see, battery technology, all these other things. And as a company, I know 60% of the landscaping companies is quite a bit, but that's the goal. And I'm looking more forward to this short-term goal that is our summer. Looking forward for that. So, but no, yeah, I completely agree with George.
Okay. So you play basketball. We haven't heard. George, are you an athlete? What do you do in your spare time?
No. I'm not a big fan of the athletics. I'll read, I'll do programming and technology and stuff like that, but I'm not a big fan of the athletics. I'll leave that to Katie.
Yeah, we always like to mess around and ask if people have any health and wellness tips, that collectively as we round out the show, just to kind of bring us down and kind of get us off the business talk and just get a little comical right at the end.
Well, so, I am an avid yogi. I've been practicing yoga for almost 8 years. So.
No shit. You're the second person. There's our last guest told me he wants to see me doing yoga the next time we talk, and I don't know, man.
No, I keep saying we have to do it, and I think now we truly do.
Us, yeah.
It's the second person now. I think we have to
come
do
up for the demo. We'll get a yoga session going because you guys both play volleyball, right?
Yeah.
She's a basketball player. It helps with injuries and stuff like
A
that to
lot.
prevent that type of stuff. So we'll get a yoga session
No,
going.
absolutely. I want to piggyback on that. Actually, when I met George, he was into this yoga stuff. I saw him walking with his little mat around. And you were a little bit too much. And when he offered me that day that he texted me about coming to his business, it was finals week. A lot was going on in that. He texted me like, hey, there is a yoga session. I actually injured myself lifting weights that weekend. I dislocated my shoulder. And so George said to me like, hey, come to this yoga session. I'm like, that's stretching. And I'm super competitive. Like basketball is all about competition and I want to beat somebody.
Yeah.
No, for me, this is too quiet. So I wanted to compete and stuff. And I'm like, all this time, I just have met George as the person that is super calm, likes to read, kind of in the nerdy side. So I went to yoga and I was like, whatever, I'm going here because let's see what's up. So I went really good. Like it have really helped with my back a lot and stuff. But always my competitive nature, I was always like looking around. I was like, oh, I can bend more than I can do better.
See, so it's my competitive nature that keeps me from doing yoga because I'm a big, strong dude, but flexibility, not high on the chart for me. So I would be like, knowing somebody like you's looking around and being like, damn it, she sees I can't bend for shit. Like, that's my problem, you know?
That happens to me the first time I saw George. I thought he was not going to be, I mean, I don't see him as an athletic person at all, like as I met him at the beginning. So I saw him, I was like, I'm going to beat him. I'm a collegiate athlete. I've been doing this for a couple of years now. I'm going to be more flexible than him. Yeah, my flexibility wasn't there.
Well, I can't even touch my toes, so I guess I don't know.
Yeah, we'll have to get a yoga. We'll get a yoga session going, and then we'll get a 2-on-2 volleyball match going, then a 2-on-2 basketball
Now
match.
that sounds
I'm ready.
awesome.
That would be fun.
So here, I'll tell you what, you do those other things with us, I'll do the yoga.
There we go.
So it's a deal.
That's a lot. That's a lot for him to do.
Yeah, you
yoga.
got to realize I'm stepping out of my comfort zone, you know? So, yeah. So, but it sounds like it's a good compromise, right? We're doing basketball for you, which you're going to school us on.
Oh, yeah.
It'll be embarrassing.
Yeah.
Okay. But just know I'll throw my weight around under the hoop. So
He will.
I'm an
no
equal
mercy.
opportunity sports player, just so you know. Number one, we'll do yoga and you'll far exceed all of us. And then volleyball, she'll be in her element and I'll just exist in all three, but it'll be okay.
Oh,
you know, so.
Well, it's a deal.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got to truly set up the date. And I actually, I'm being honest when I say, like, hopefully I can convince you to let us be one of the people testing your prototype. It's something to be said, how large this industry is. And you mentioned how fragmented it is, that everybody's kind of got their own little pilots going on without people even knowing about it, you know? But the cool thing knowing that is it's such a massive industry. I mean, from everything I see, $75 to $100 billion opportunity. And I think it's awesome to be a part of it, especially when I see the people that are a part of it, because you two are amazing.
Yeah, you guys are awesome.
Yeah, seriously, like just podcast gold right here. I think it's awesome. I'm totally glad we met. And I hope this is the first of many conversations like this.
Absolutely. It's just the beginning, man.
Awesome. All right. Well, I think if there's nothing else that you guys want to add, I think we're perfect. Perfect time to sign off. And thank you guys for your time. It was a blast, and I just greatly appreciate it.
Let's do it again. Thanks, Joe. Thanks, Julie.
Thank you.
For sure.
See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you
Yep.
soon.
Have a great one.